Men were in the homes. The children have fathers and mothers for the most part. Grandparents were around, and the blacks
Sounds
were
unimaginable. Honestly. Like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, like, I'm 22, and it's just like, this is like, it's kind of crazy to even imagine, like, everybody in their homes and, like, you know, yeah, sorry.
That is so interesting, and I've heard that before. You're a 22-year-old black man, and it's unimaginable to you that once upon a time, that black people had whole families. Cam, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, what's going on?
All is well. You're on the air.
All right. Yeah. Well, first off, I want to say, great to talk to you. Great to meet you, in a sense. And yeah, I had a couple questions.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So my first question was, do you think black people are on a pedestal as a part of, like, an agenda to make others, you know, hate or, you know, become spiteful?
100%. Black people are being used to divide and conquer. They stroke the egos of the blacks so that they can feel good about being wrong and use them to make other people angry so they can get what they want.
Yeah, like, why do you think that is, though? Like, you know?
Why do you think they use the blacks?
Yeah.
Because the blacks are allowing themselves to be used. They don't mind being used, and they do it by giving them free stuff. It started out years ago by giving the blacks, especially when the so-called civil rights movement happened. Civil rights movement was one of the worst things that, other than abortion, that has ever happened to the blacks, because they got rid of the man and they replaced the man with the government, and they replaced the man with the so-called civil rights leaders. And they just been giving the blacks free stuff and using this phony word racism and all that so that they can control them. Once you give someone something, you can control them, and that's what they're doing with the blacks. That's why they keep affirmative action, the reparation. They got to keep giving them a little something in order to control them. Because they want to turn America into a socialist society where the government controls the people and the people are not in control themselves. And that's the primary purpose of using the blacks for those reasons.
To, like, sort of push the agenda, yeah.
100%. Even the black politicians are doing that to the blacks too. If you notice, they're crying racism on every little thing, while they're getting more money. They're getting a so-called position of power. They're living in fine homes. Their kids are going to private schools. They are protected by security guards or police protection, and they're armed. But the regular blacks, or the ones under them, they have none of those things at all. So even their own black politicians are using the blacks for personal gains. Not just the whites using the blacks, but the blacks are using the blacks as well.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's always like something like I kind of knew, like, I don't know, there's something about, like, the way it was just like, oh, like, you know, black this, black that. Like, I'm black myself, and it's just like, it just felt weird in a sense, you know? It's just like over too much, like, stuff that, like, person I didn't feel like it was really, you know, deserved in a sense, you know?
Yeah. They even defunded the cops. They used the blacks in order to defund the cops so that the blacks can go out of control even more so, commit more crime and attack and do all that so that they can get more money and power. They let them out of jail. They took away the bail bond because they want the blacks going out of control. And that's exactly what the blacks are doing, going completely out of control. Like, they don't have sense enough to see that, you know what, let me take control of my own life. They won't even pause to see that they're being used for this stuff.
That's crazy.
It's insane, man. It's just talking about letting go of yourself. That's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah. How long do you think this has been brewing up for?
It's been secretly, from what I'm learning from other people, it's been secretly kind of going on for a while, but it really exploded when they accepted the so-called civil rights movement. Those people came along and said they were fighting for blacks not to ride on the back of the bus and all that crap. It really exploded then when the blacks fell for the government and the civil rights leaders.
Yeah. They always talk about that. Like, they always talk about how it was, you know, even prior to when I remember I heard you say it a couple of times, but even prior to you saying it, like, I've always known that it was, you know, everything when we were, you know, separated and all that, it was just very prosperous.
Yeah.
And, you know, wasn't really worried about other things that are going on.
None of this stuff, man, was happening then. It wasn't, black people were doing very well, thank you, right? They were like, the men were in the homes, the children had fathers and mothers for the most part, grandparents were around, and the blacks were...
Sounds unimaginable, honestly. Like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, like, I'm 22, and it's just like, this is like, it's kind of crazy to even imagine, like, everybody in their homes and, like, you know, yeah, sorry.
That is so interesting, and I've heard that before. You're a 22-year-old black man, and it's unimaginable to you that once upon a time, that black people had whole families and that they worked for themselves, they owned land, and they did for themselves. That's unimaginable. It's hard to believe that, though I know why it's like that, but that's crazy that it's hard for you to imagine that.
Yeah, like, in terms of, like, a highly, you know, dense, populated, black, densely populated area, like, to be, you know, having, like, good values and, you know, good morals and everything like that. Like, it's definitely certain, like, it's just unimaginable. Like
that's something, and they don't want you to imagine that. That's why they want to erase history. They want to rewrite history, and all these stupid black movies they make. They want to make it look like the blacks was just down and out and praying to the Lord, and they don't want you to know, even that. They don't want you to know that the blacks were doing well. Even that thing that happened in Oklahoma, I believe, Black Wall Street, something called Black Wall Street. They don't want you to know the real deal behind that it was torn down at one time and then it was rebuilt by the blacks. They're not going to tell you that part because they want you to be brainwashed and dumbed down.
Huh.
But black people used to be very talented, man. Tuskegee Institute, George Washington Carver, my grandfather. I mean, it was amazing.
You know what I think it is?
What's that?
You know, sometimes, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but sometimes I think about, like, how before the actual effects of, like, what is happening, like, you know, like, the things you hear in, like, the songs and all that.
Yes.
I feel like, you know, in a sense, like, where it's pushed before, like, it's not, like, the music and stuff like that. This is just an example, but the music is... they use it as, like, oh, it's the product of what's around. Yeah. But sometimes I feel like it's actually, like, pushed, you know?
It is.
It's like, put in front, like, to set that example of, you know.
It is for sure, man. It's intentional. They are deliberately using the blacks, keeping them down, keeping them angry, keeping them divided, keeping the men away from the home so that they can do what they're doing. If the black man was to wake up, though, if he were to just wake up and stop blaming anyone, keep his eyes on himself, and take back his family, stop allowing the people to use them, the country would turn back to good overnight. But they don't want it. That's why they keep the blacks on the Democratic plantation, because they can keep feeding them a little piece of bread. They can keep the black man and the black woman separated for personal gain. But if the man woke up, because the power is in the man, if he woke up, everything would change. The woman would have to follow him. She would have no other choice.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad that you see what's going on, man, especially at 22, right?
Yes, sir.
What do your friends think about the way you see things as opposed to the way they see it?
That's a good question. My friends, they're kind of like, trust me, I'll go on for days. This is the first time I've, like, really kind of, actually, yeah, I've learned something new today. But, like, I'll talk to them about it before, and they're like, you know, okay, like, they don't really care.
They don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I know people that understand, and, you know, it's just, I actually had another question that I was going to ask you was, like, do you feel like the, you know, NWO or, you know, New World Order is, like, inevitable?
Yeah. I used to not believe in that kind of stuff, but it's happening right in front of my eyes, so I can't deny what I see. Yeah, it's happening. And it's happening quickly, too.
Yeah, for sure. I think COVID really had to, like, I feel like I ended up going to college. Like, I turned 18, or I turned 19 during, like, the COVID, when everything happened type. And, like, I can just tell, like, something was different. Like something was very, very different about it. Even like, I think it started off with, like, George Floyd, and then, like, after that, like, people were, like, heavily rioting and, like, booing, and like, it was just, I remember seeing, like, the burnt buildings on CNN and everything like that. And then at that point, like, it just seemed like, you know, it was going to be different. They
deliberately encourage, allow, whatever you want to call it, the blacks to burn down America. You see how they held the police back from it, and the blacks were destroying statues and monuments and people, businesses and their homes, and setting fires. They used the blacks for that. And the only thing that came out of that was, according to the reports, the radical group Black Lives Matter got a lot of money, and then the people end up suffering and more divided than any other time. And if you notice, they allowed the Black Lives Matter people to destroy the country, but they do nothing about the black-on-black violence. They don't, if Black Lives Matter, why don't black people killing other black people matter to them? They do nothing about that. No protest, no nothing.
Yeah. I remember one time, I think you guys were covering the man on the train who got put in the chokehold.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that was recently or...
Yeah, that was recently in New York.
Yeah. I remember that. And then, like, what I was thinking was, like you guys mentioned how he was homeless and all that. I'm like, you know, all these people that came out and they all, like, popped out and everything were just, like, you know, Al Sharpton and all that. I'm just like, could you imagine if all those people that know his name now were, like, actively seeking him before he even passed away? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, would he even be? He wouldn't even be in that position.
That's right. That's right. They don't care. They want it, man. They love it when something like that happens, because they come out of the woodwork. They make a lot of money. They get a lot of news coverage. It's all about them. It's not about the individual. They can care less about the black guy that was on that train or the white guy. It's about themselves, and that's all it's about. It's insane. It's evil. I can't think of a better word. It's evil. And that guy, the black guy, has been reported. He had a criminal record. He'd been in jail something like 40 times or something like that. I may be quoting that wrong, but they don't care about that. They say he had mental issues. They don't care about that. It's just about themselves. That's why we have to take control of our own lives and not let anyone else control our life. When you control your own life, you know yourself, You'll be a free person then. But if you let somebody else control your life, you're going to be in bondage. And that's what's happening with most, not all, but most of the blacks. Cam, I appreciate your call, man. Call me again.
Yeah. Wait, one more thing.
Okay.
It's not even like a question, really. But, like, could you pray for me?
Could I pray for you?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Nothing. I just know how power.
My prayer. Okay. My prayer for you is I wish you well, man. Stay away from anger. Don't be afraid to know yourself, and stay away from anger, and you can't help but be free at all times. Have you forgiven? Have you heard me say forgive your mother and return to your father?
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's times where it's like stuff happens, but I mean, I've learned to just kind of brush it off.
So, have you gone to your mother and apologized for resenting her for turning you away from your father?
Apologize. I've said I forgive you, but I never apologize.
And what did she say when you told her you forgive her?
Confused.
She was confused?
Yeah.
Oh, she pretended to be confused?
Yeah, I can say that.
And do you realize she could not help herself for what she done to you?
Yeah. Well, I have a question as well. Like, what do you, like, done to me, not that I disagree, but, like, done to me, like, what do you mean?
Like, imposing her will on you, trying to make your life go the way she thought it should go. And were your father around?
He lived in another state.
Oh, so he wasn't there to help you deal with her?
Nah.
And are you close to your father?
Yeah, I could say, like, in a sense where it's like, yeah, I remember, like, I was his best man in his wedding, you know?
Nice.
We're pretty cool friends.
Have you forgiven him for not being there for you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You told him that?
Yeah. There was a time in, like, I think a couple, like 2 years ago, where it was like just a bunch of anger towards each other. And I remember I asked him, like, why not? Like, why? Where were you? You know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
And how did he respond to that?
When I asked him, where were you?
Yeah.
I mean, this was like, it was just, there was more leading up, or there was more following that, but it was just like, what do you, like, nah, like, I did what I had or could have done or had to do, in a sense.
And so here's what I recommend, because you definitely want what's right, and my prayer for you that you get that. Have you heard me talk about the silent prayer?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what it is, though.
It's what it is. It's slow. When you do it, it'll slow you down inwardly so that God can catch up with you, and the truth will change your life. It'll bring you out of the darkness of your imagination, because the imagination is all lies, all thoughts, except for practical thoughts of going to work, making a meal or whatever. But all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. And when you live in your imagination, you're controlled by darkness. You're controlled by evil. They build you up, make you feel good. And then as soon as you're feeling good, they let you down. They give you a reason to be down. And then when you're down, they build you up again, and then they let you down. After a while, you want to jump off a bridge. Well, if you do the silent prayer every morning, every night, and during the day, be aware. Keep your mind where your body is, rather than thinking about the past or the future or what you have or don't have. then it's slowing you down inwardly so that God can catch up with you, and He will take that darkness away from you, and He will control your life with love. It'll be amazing.
Sure.
Because a lot of people, they do that hooping and hollering prayer, oh, Lord, have mercy, save me, pray for my mama, my daddy, all that kind of mess. And it doesn't work. But when you be still and just know God, your life will be amazing. So I want to, if you don't already know, go to the YouTube channel, www.silentprayer.video, and I want you to give that a try. Let me know what you think.
All right. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, do it every morning, every night before bed, and then during the day, just kind of, instead of thinking about what's going to happen, what has happened, stay present. That's where God is. Eternal life is in the present. It's not in the an illusion of the past or the future. It's right. God is right with you all the time. And that's why He said, pray without ceasing. And that means to just be aware rather than lost in your head.
Yeah. Wait, wait, one more quick one. Do you think there's a presence around even when you're not, when you're not sober minded?
Is His presence around?
Yeah. When you're under the influence?
100%. His presence is always around, but because you're unconscious, you can't see it. But everything that you are, everything you will ever be, everything that you want or need, you already have it. You just don't see it. His presence is always with you, but you just don't see it. That's why you do the silent prayer, so you can stay present. And you'll see life will just unfold, and it will happen for you. It doesn't need your help.
All right. Yeah.
Amazing. Let me know how it goes, all right?
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for, thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. Call me again.
All right.
Okay. Amazing. Seeking the truth. Seek first the kingdom of God His right way. Everything will be added. Overcome the fake self, and then the real self will appear.